You ever have a morning where something in your life just explodes and you realize, right then, that nothing is ever going back to normal? That was me, Gideon Marsh. The day my leg finally burst open and started leaking silver. Not blood, not pus, but a thick yellow ooze shot through with tiny, perfect pieces of metal that caught the sunlight and made me question every single thing I thought I knew about the world. I'm talking about pieces so uniform, so damn shiny. They looked like something made in a jeweler's workshop, not inside a man's body. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah, that happened. But let me back up a sec. 3 months before that mess, I noticed a little bump just above my knee, nothing I hadn't shrugged off 100 times before, wrestling steers or fixing fences out in the middle of nowhere. I live so far off the map. The closest neighbor's a 2-day ride if you push it, and I always figured pain was just part of the price of living free. Only this time, the pain wasn't like any bruise I'd ever known. Every morning it pulsed worse, the lumps swelling from the size of a marble to something angry, purple, the skin stretched so tight I could see the veins straining underneath. Walking became a war with my own body, but stubbornness runs thicker than water around here. I just kept going, figuring it would heal, like everything else had. No one really saw how bad it got except me. Even Boone Carter, my only regular visitor, didn't catch on. He just came by every month to swap supplies, shoot the breeze. Talk about how the world was getting stranger. Solitude was my comfort. Most days I preferred the company of my cattle, the wind, and a good horse over anyone else. But as the weeks dragged by, that lump on my leg started changing color. This sickly, yellow tint that reminded me of battlefield wounds gone septic back in my army days. Some nights, when sleep wouldn't come, I'd swear I could feel something moving, trying to claw its way out. Then came the morning, everything snapped. The air was crisp, cattle huddled by the trough, and I was limping along, trying not to curse out loud, when suddenly, this tearing pain ripped through my leg, and before I could even shout, the skin split. What poured out wasn't human. It was thick, oily, and glittered with those metal flecks, pooling at my feet, seeping into my boots. I just stood there, staring, trying to wrap my head around what kind of godforsaken infection could do that. I scooped some of it up into an old jar, hands shaking, studying those fragments. Under the light, they looked like refined silver, each one identical, each one perfect. My first thought was to bandage it and forget I ever saw it. But the wound kept weeping, and the silver kept coming. Even weirder, the pieces seemed to clump together, almost like they were magnetized, forming neat patterns on the ground. That's when Boone rode up, cutting through my attempts at secrecy like a knife. He took one look at my leg, the jar in my hand, and his face went pale. "Ain't nothing natural about that," he said, voice shaking. And for the first time, I saw fear in Boone's eyes, not the kind you show a wild animal, but the kind you get when the world stops making sense. As we stood there, another wagon barreled down the road, not the usual supply run, but a doctor and his daughter, Clem. They'd heard about my condition. Now, out here, news shouldn't travel that fast, especially not about a man's busted leg. But there they were, eyes darting from me to the jar, voices low, like they were afraid of being overheard. Boone was the one who said it first. "Those silver bits. Doc, you ever seen anything like that come out of a man?" Clem knelt, careful as a cat, examining the fragments with scientific awe. "Not stones," she whispered. "They're too perfect, too pure." But it was the doctor's hands that gave him away, trembling as he pulled a vial from his coat. Inside, the same yellow ooze, the same metal flecks. That's when the truth hit me. "You've seen this before." He looked at me, all the color gone from his face, and nodded. There'd been other cases, miners mostly, all kept hush-hush. "Have you ever worked in the Silver Peak mining territory?" he asked, voice barely above a whisper. "I had, 15 years back, just trying to scrape together enough to buy this land. Those mines," he said, "weren't shut down for accidents. They were shut down because men started growing silver inside their bodies, just like me. Every one of those men, dead within months. Now, you ever feel the world tilt underneath your boots? That was me, right then." But before the panic could take hold, Boone, bless his troublemaking heart, added a twist, said he'd seen someone in town, years back, selling silver fragments identical to mine, fetching a fortune. "You think they're mining it out of people?" I asked, stomach turning. I think those miners didn't just die, Boone said. I think they were harvested. Just as the words hung heavy in the air, 6 hard-faced men rode up, company uniforms, guns at their hips, all business. The foreman got down, his eyes cold as river stone. Mr. Marsh, you're coming with us. Company medical facilities, specialized treatment. Boone just laughed, bitter and sharp. You mean harvesting? Nobody denied it. The company man said straight up that anything pulled out of my body was company property, cause of some ancient contract I barely remembered signing, hidden in the fine print. It was all out in the open now. The company exposed men to some vein of tainted silver, watched as the metal grew inside them, then waited, or helped, until it could be cut out, clean and pure. Like a crop. 17 dead, maybe more, and now they wanted me alive so they could perfect their process. Clem and her father moved fast, prepping meds, gathering samples. Clem snapping photos and scribbling notes, determined to get this story out before anyone could bury it. Boone, ever the wild card, pulled a notebook from his coat. Every word you've said today is in here. Names, faces, everything. Try me. The standoff felt like it would never end, the tension thick as tar. But finally, the company men realized they'd been caught flat-footed. Dr. Ward worked on me right there, flushing the last of the silver out of my system, every drop proof of the company's crimes. The foreman tried to bluff one more time, but Clem just smiled, cool as you please, and told him she'd already alerted the Territorial Medical Board. By morning, every doctor from here to the next county would know about Silver Peak Syndrome and how to treat it safely without company assistance. They left, angry and defeated, but the danger wasn't over. Over the next few weeks, the fight moved to courtrooms and newspapers. Boone's records, Dr. Ward's testimony, Clem's photographs. It was enough to bring the whole rotten company to its knees. 3 more men were rescued, alive, from company treatment camps. The mines were sealed for good, the silver declared a hazard, and the executives now face murder charges. Me? I got a scar and a new appreciation for the plain, honest work of ranching, and a wariness I never had before. Sometimes, late at night, I wonder how many other men went to their graves with company silver in their veins. Sometimes I wonder if justice is ever really done. But I know this. One man's pain blew open a story meant to stay buried, and sometimes that's enough. So what do you think? Was justice served? Or did greed just find a new way to hide? Tell me down below. I want to know what you would have done. And if this story grabbed you, stick around for more. And hey, maybe toss us a super chat if you want to help us keep these stories coming. Your voice is part of this. Don't let it go unheard.